In September 1970, hard rock psych trio Atomic Rooster released their second album, Death Walks Behind You, and from it, the track Seven Streets. Love that descent and reascent with that bass line kind of guiding it, circling around that organ riff, which is very similar, of course, to what Vandergraaf Generator were doing at the same point in time. Yet, both bands released two albums in 1970. I would say between the two, they owned the year. Okay, and now we hear an element that's not present on the first album. That is the guitar, played by John Buchan of Andromeda and The Attack before this. And he's getting really rough here after having come in rather subdued, and he's just going to keep on getting more intense. Okay, and even though Carl Palmer has left for ELP, the drums of Paul Hammond are picking up the slack just fine. Okay, I love how that how the verse it goes like through this like open. The cadence shifts when it lands on that F. Yeah, we have that flowing open cadence, like basically eight, 2 bars per chord, like A, G, and then that chromatic step, that chromatic half step between like F sharp, and then finally when it lands on F, it goes into this. It really starts like hammering down on that, and while the organ kind of like rises up through the thirds and fifths and scales up through it. Okay, the lyrics are almost impossible to decipher in this mix. We just got so much, brimming, like distorted guitar and thick organ just dominating the mix. Let's see. Seven lonely streets, walking all alone, never needing no one, always on my own, since I left the world to live my own way. People I don't see, no one's in my day. In my sleep I hear, but my eyes can't see, photos of my past, of my life to be. Ear face to the wind to see all I can hear. The days would be so long, 7 streets I fear. It's pretty much about solitude, but that last line that I read begs more thought. Crane has overdubbed bass on this record. Yeah, it's just he's the only carry through from the prior album, released in February of the same year. Every single one of the songs on this album, well, just almost all of them, except perhaps Another Night. They all Tomorrow Night. I'm thinking of, yeah. They all tend to just gradually build in intensity and explode somewhere in the middle. And as we're gonna find out, there's one guy in particular who's consistently making that happen. They're almost sounding like a German band here. I'm hard pressed to think of moments where it got this intense, or where the reckless abandon quite got so like pitched between Ritchie Blackmore and John Lord on their studio records. That is live. Yes, that's another thing, but. I do believe that John Cann was pushing. Vince Crane had to, just outplay himself in order to keep up with John Cann in this. Okay, let's catch up with the lyrics here. 7 lonely streets I'm walking. I'm trying. I would have to listen closer for these cadences. I'm just trying to imagine them. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to let that finish. I need to pay attention to how these lines fit the verses. One of those songs that really is all about the music. Even though there's lyrics there, the voice is just kind of some distant apparition that you can barely make out. And since you can't really hear it, I can't really say that the voice functions as another instrument, but it's kind of hard to read these lyrics without being able to he conjure the vocal melody in my head. That was the problem I was having. But I'll finish them off right here. 7 lonely streets. I'm walking all on my own. Yeah, I don't know how he's feeding this into the bars. 7 days I weep. Oh, all alone. So all alone. 7 lonely streets on my own. 7 lonely streets walking all alone. Never needing no one. Okay, we covered this already. People I don't see. No one's in my day. I'm walking all alone. 7 days I plead all on my own. Okay. 7, I guess 7 is just the days of the week. Although 7 streets I fear. Yeah, I'm still wondering what that 7 may have more significance than just the days of the week here. Yeah. Did you hear the double tracking? Yeah, I was hearing 2 different guitar lines. That main one, I heard one kind of snaking underneath it. I love the sound. I'm wondering if the Stranglers were influenced by this band, like on tracks like Down in the Sewer, some of their more early psych moments. Yeah, Atomic Rooster, a new lineup just formed by Vincent Crane. The main, basically, Atomic Rooster was always Vincent Crane and whoever he happened to be employing. Like the original lineup, an offshoot of the Crazy World of Arthur Brown, and then this like a revamped trio with John Buchan, who had been in Andromeda, a UK hard rock band, Andromeda, which grew out of the Attack, freakbeat psych band. That what they the Attack were unique. I like the Attack better than the Andromeda record. The Attack didn't do an album proper. They did a bunch of singles, and they were kind of like the missing link between the freakbeat era Who with their most rupturous and bands like The Smoke, The Creation, and say like the Hendrix Experience, some of the more rupturous proto hard rock blues rock. Hey, let's just say of all the kind of mod psych freakbeat bands, they were by far the heaviest. Okay, aside from them and Art, the pre-Spooky Tooth, Supernatural Fairy Tales, yeah, it's very ironic that John Buchan in the interim recorded an album in this hard rock trio called Andromeda, because I don't hear much carry through between John Buchan's Andromeda and his time in Atomic Rooster or the prior album, but the first Atomic Rooster album, the self-titled, I do hear a lot of similarity between that and the completely unrelated German Andromeda that put out an album in 1970. An uncanny parallel there, yeah. Anyway, let's hear another track from this album, Sleeping for Years. Kind of droney, almost raga-like, or kind of getting into like high tide territory for a bit here. that I once read about George Starston made a remark about this album where he says that John Ducan can really rip it up in the middle of a song, but he saves that for the middle, knowing that doing it too soon, doing it like right at the start would sound, and then he used the C word. And anyway, my first thought at the time was, it's too bad he never got around to reviewing Bebop Deluxe's catalog. I'd like to know what he would have to say about Stage Whispers off Futurama. But this doesn't quite. This is just kind of like a preview, though, of what he hasn't. This is tame by John Ducan standards on the album. Although I do find that like an interesting observation, nonetheless, that he just kind of like rolls it out. That John Ducan rolls out the intensity gradually. I like the more close cadence on this one. In case you didn't think the song was catchy already, then they throw this in, and there are so many twists and turns to these songs. Like I'm just amazed at the inspiration that came. Like each track, just when you think that you can trace its movements in advance or something based on the arrangement that's come into form. They throw in something that you didn't expect, like some just. Okay, I can catch up. I can hear the lyrics a bit better in this one. Open your eyes, the day is growing near. Wasted away, sleeping off the years. Been around. Okay, and this is where he goes, been around, stuck around, far too long. Run away, hide away, I was wrong. Yeah. Couldn't see, only me, too bad. No, I know, how I know, you'll stay the same. So it's about kind of wasting away over the years. Stay around, far too long. Run away, hide away, I was wrong. Couldn't see, only me, oh, too bad. Now I know, how I know, stay the same. I have a grim topic for young men to be singing about. It struck me recently. I was reading lyrics written by a young man, seemingly from the point of view of a much older person, and you would wonder why people just kind of like in their early 20s would be writing about old age, or people kind of, or that whole vantage point of being sort of over the hill and having not made the best of your time here. Okay, now we're getting much more of an ensemble kind of jam here. John Cann is nonetheless really scaling, noodling away just with these really trebly, distorted, fuzzy lines and such, but they're kind of low in the mix. And I have some theories. My main theory about this album is that, or the immediate aftermath anyway, is that Vincent Crane felt really upstaged for the most part by John Cann's presence on this album, and that's why the next I'll finish that in a bit. Yeah, I love the whole rhythmic element in the organ and everything. But if we were to just mix it slightly different, where the guitar was a bit more kind of up in the mix, it would be another one of many moments on the album where John Cann just steals the show. And I think it's something that didn't sit well with Vincent Crane after this album came out. And that's why he really minimized John Cann on the following album, and in hearing of and why it was such a drop down from this album. Yeah, two excellent albums in 1970, and then they really don't make another great album until 1980. Guitar is mostly coming out of the right speaker, which is a good thing that I've started the whole tradition of bringing it over here close to the camera. Okay, let's catch up with the lyrics, finish them off. What did I lose going my way, taking no more, the light from my day, been around, stuck around, far too long. Run away, hide away, I was wrong. Couldn't see, only me, ah, too bad. Now I know, how I know, you'll stay the same, you'll stay the same. Give what you have. Oh, I skipped the second one, but it's basically covering the same ground. We get the gist of this. Interesting. They've honed in their soloing, their scales and all that. Well, John Cann anyway. Now he's just playing the vocal melody. Oh, that's interesting. He was doing it like in the same key. Now he's gone up an octave. Yeah, that was Sleeping 4 Years by Atomic Rooster, and before that, Seven Streets, two great tracks of many rubies off their sophomore release, the December 1970 Death Walks Behind You. Yes, their second album in the span of 1970. 10 months apart from one another. Yeah, February, their debut, Atomic Rooster, and then a lineup overhaul that leaves only Vincent Crane. And they released the Even Stronger. Yeah, both albums are really strong, but Death Walks Behind You gets the edge because the songwriting is so great. That's the most important thing. But really, what does it is oh, excuse me, September. I said that at the start. Yeah, September, not December. So, oh my God, 8 months. Huh. 7 months. Seven months apart from one another. That, huh. Yeah. It's primarily the presence of John Buchan, who, for the most part, just is the one who. Just about every song on here, with the exception of Tomorrow Night, has like this big middle that just explodes on account of John Buchan's rip-roaring soloing that just ups the scale and oftentimes forces Vincent Crane to like, keep up. And then I guess I imagine that when this album came out, a lot of attention got lavished on John Buchan, and Vincent Crane just thought, wait a minute, this is my band, I put it together, and kind of sabotaged things from within, because I know that Vincent Crane had emotional issues at the time, was depressive and such, and so he kind of squandered things deliberately on their next album. The next album, I think, was the problem with that album may have been a mixture of trying to make more of the songs like Tomorrow Night so there wouldn't be room for John Buchan to explode, and perhaps also just really trying to rein it in and just giving Buchan a very reduced role and not letting him do much, and saying, I'm not going to be upstaged like that again. And of course, he then fires everyone again, and then forms a new band and put out those next two albums. Yeah, Made in England, Nice and Greasy. I should revisit those. Made in England's all right. And then, but really, if to summarize the Atomic Rooster catalog, out of the 7 studio albums they did in their over the course of their 2 periods of existence, I would say the essentials are the 2 albums from 1970, and then after that you can skip right over to 1980 and get the second self-titled, and then 1983's Headline News. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Anyway, oh yeah, and an Attack compilation too for some good freak beat. Some songs of theirs like Neville Thumbcatch. Yeah, that's a freak beat. That's like a Rubble classic right there. Yeah. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the catalog of Atomic Rooster, see the directory of albums by English A artists linked in the description below. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the 2 tracks we just heard, the interplay, the layers, the sounds, the organ, the guitars, the intensity, the lyrics. And who had the best moment? You already know what my answer on that is. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.